Hello Vidheads, welcome back to another video. This one, I want to talk about why I left the JVC GY-LS300 after this. Welcome back Vidheads. Yes, I did leave the JVC GY-LS300, but I had good reason. And here's what it is. I use those cameras mainly for weddings. And I was doing weddings, I was booked week after week after week. And so when you're doing weddings like that, it gets a little monotonous. I have a 9-to-5 already. I go to work, and I sometimes work overtime, and I come home and I have this job to do. And matter of fact, if that was all it was, that would be great. But because I didn't have time to do any of the things I love to do, to be creative, like music videos, commercials, and short films, I had no time for any of that stuff. So I had to make a decision. And so that decision I made was to go ahead and stop doing as many weddings so that I can start doing some of these other projects that allow me to be creative. And so in doing so, I didn't think the JVC evolved fast enough to keep my interest. And what I mean by that is, when I was going after a new camera, I was actually going after the Canon C200. And I shot for the stars and I landed on the moon. I ended up with the A7 III because I compared the prices. When I compared the price of $6,000 for a used C200 at the time, and I can actually get this A7 III brand new for about $2,200 at the time in which I purchased it, it was a no-brainer based on the specs and based on how I was able to use it. Not only that, I was able to use the A7 III in situations that I couldn't use the C200 because it was a little bit more, the form factor was a little bit more applicable for certain situations. And so, yeah, there you have it. That's one of the reasons why I left the JVC. So what do I miss about the JVC? Let's talk about that. Right off the bat, I'm gonna tell you, I miss the images that I can capture with the JVC. I think the JVC, you can get 150 megabits per second of data when you capture in 4K or UHD. I love that. I had a little bit more latitude to push colors around. With the A7 III, it's only 100 megabits per second, and I can tell the difference when I'm trying to push colors around. But, you know, there's a trade-off, there was a trade-off. Another thing I miss about the JVC GY-LS300 is the ND filters, the internal ND filters. That was awesome. That made it a lot more versatile. Even though it was a big camera, it made it more versatile to be able to go from inside outside without having to screw on any extra ND filters. That was pretty awesome. So now let's talk about what I don't miss. What I don't miss about the JVC camera is the poor quality build. That quality, that build of a plasticky, even though it did have a flip out screen, and that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. But the plasticky build kind of sucked for me. Just had to feel like I had to be so delicate with it. And it, I didn't like that. That's the part I don't miss. I don't miss the autofocus on the GY-LS300. The autofocus left a lot more to be desired, obviously, especially after experiencing the A7 III. That's a given. I don't miss the Micro Four Thirds ecosystem. That's another reason why I wanted to get away. I didn't want to stay trapped in the Micro Four Thirds ecosystem. Now, I know I'm gonna offend some people with that, but for me, I just felt like I was limited. And once I got the full frame, I felt like I was unlimited. I felt like I had a more array of choices, especially with the Sony, because I can adapt it to whatever I wanted to. And I know you can adapt the Micro Four Thirds to whatever. And I bought adapters, and I bought all kind of cine lenses. And when I was using the JVC, I settled on the Rokinon. I had the whole series of cine Rokinons, and I loved what I was able to capture, but I just felt like I was trapped in this ecosystem of Micro Four Thirds, and I was not getting the low light capability that I knew I can get with other cameras. And with a full frame, I can get more light into the sensor, which gives me a better low light situation. And so that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to go to a full frame in the first place. I also left JVC because I wanted to experience more of a hybrid camera. My wife is a photographer and she, you know, shoots photos obviously. And I wanted to get one of those cameras where I can shoot photos and be able to shoot video with the same body. I couldn't really afford to have both because I had 3 JVC GY-LS300 cameras, and so I sold those so that I can go more to the more cinematography side of things. And I felt that the A7 III or whatever it is I was going after, I felt I need to be a little bit more lighter, a little bit more versatile, a little bit more compact in a form factor. Even though I did like the form factor of the JVC, and I love when I show up, it looks like I'm professional. It looks like, you know, I know what I'm doing, that kind of thing. And it goes a long way with customers and other people who's actually watching you do what you do. They take note of what kind of equipment that you're using, how you're using it, and then what you're capturing with it. They take note of that, that's for sure. But again, I do miss my JVC. Like I said, I'm not just a Sony guy. I'm not just a JVC guy. I'm all about using the tools it takes for the job and trying to get the look that I'm going for. So the question is, would I buy another JVC? Yes, I sure would buy another JVC. Once the opportunity presents itself, I just may go ahead and grab another one. I love some of the footage I was able to capture with that camera. It was very clean, professional, and I was able to give my clients a very good project. And so yes, I'm very happy with using the JVC and the J-Log as well. So that brings me to my next point. I made an update LUT for you guys who use J-Log with the JVCs. And so if you're watching this video and you're a JVC person and you're looking for a nice color correct LUT for your J-Log, well, you're in luck. In the description below, I'm gonna put a LUT for you guys, and hopefully this helps you guys out. Make sure before you use this LUT that you white balance and you make sure you're exposed to the right. That was my recommendation because that was something that I did. I exposed to the right when I'm using J-Log. And so I made this LUT for that particular circumstance. So yes, go ahead, download the LUT, have fun with it, and then actually show me what you've done with it. Show me how you applied the LUT. Show me some of your project work that you used the LUT on. That'd be awesome. Follow me on my social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, and make sure you subscribe. I'll have more things given away here soon. Make sure you hit the little baby bell. This is your big brother, Aaron Jones. I got your back. Over and out.